An SFW. Okay. Do you want to talk about
It's all red.
It is all red.
Oh.
Do you want to talk? Holy shit! Do you want to talk about cosplay next, or do you want to talk about the parties next?
What does the internet want us to talk about
Let's talk about cosplay next. The cosplay. You know, I thought there was more cosplay at PAX East. I know you said that the cosplay at Prime seemed better.
I think there was more at East. I think the stuff
quality
at
was
Prime
better.
was way better. There was some nice cosplay going on at Prime.
There was a gentleman in a full body Buzz Lightyear. We haven't even uploaded all the pictures yet. There are more pictures of cosplay, but if you go on Not Effing Cute, we will have a cosplay thread set up soon. Yeah, gallery. But there was a giant Buzz Lightyear, and I was teasing the guy that he got all the chicks because somehow a guy in a Buzz Lightyear costume was really hot.
Yeah.
But you know who I had
He should have been carrying a sign that said like, "You want to see my Woody?"
Yes. Have you seen my Woody? My favorite cosplay was probably the simplest of all of them, and I was fucking in love with him.
Swag Monster.
Oh no, Swag Monster was good. I was going to talk about Vincent.
Oh, Vincent was great.
He even sounded like Vincent.
Yeah. He kind of looked and acted a little like Vincent.
I know, and everyone kept asking him who his favorite Catherine was and stuff. The guy was in boxers, he had horns, and he carried a pillow, and he was like barefoot. And he was so fucking cute. He was really cute. Vincent, cosplay man, you were cute.
Call her.
He was just adorable, and he walked around, and at one point we saw him like eating Subway with a shirt on, and we're
That's
like,
when we first saw him. I felt like a jerk because I remember when I was Bayonetta, someone taking a picture of me while I was eating, and me being like, "Can you just let me finish my sandwich?"
That's how I was as X23.
And then I kind of felt bad when I saw him eating a sandwich and me being like, "Can you just let me take a picture? Like, you could be Vincent eating a sandwich. I don't care."
Well, some people would be like, "I'm sorry, can you stop that real quick and pose?" I was like, "You don't have to pose. I just want to take a picture of you eating a sandwich."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You don't have to do anything, but keep doing what you're doing, and I'm going to take your picture."
I just want to ask first, so I'm not the dick who's taking a picture of you.
Yeah, I want to see your penis. Carl.
Carl was badass.
I don't even know what a Carl
Dude,
is. This guy shaved his head. Like, the top of his head was literally shaved. You could see where his hair actually was supposed to be there. Shaved his head.
Yeah, I think the funny thing was with Carl was that, like, Carl, from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, he is very much balding, so he has this big bald spot patch on the top of his head. But the guy cosplaying as Carl, like,
very much had all his hair.
He had all his hair, and like he's like a burly man, like he's a man, like he grows hair. So like by the end of the day, he had like a 5 o'clock shadow like on his head,
yeah.
Which was kind of interesting. But he had Carl down to a T, and he was walking around just doing like, oh yeah, like it was a
he
total
had a big ass belly hanging out. He was a good time.
He was good. Who else did I see? The Swag Monster, which I thought was
probably your favorite.
Just a great idea. Was some dude covered in swag, just like covered from head to toe.
He had like a monster mask on,
and then he had a monster mask on, and it was perfect. Like he was just this big, like he looked like Swamp Thing, but like made out of t-shirts.
And he had a, like an iPad right here that said Swag Monster.
It said Swag Monster wants your swag. And he was walking around the convention just getting swag from everyone and draping it over himself.
And I have a feeling he started out with like generic swag from other cons, and like later he looked like he was covered in just Prime swag.
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny, and it was incredibly ingenious. Like, the next time somebody does it, it's not going to be ingenious. It's not going to be anything new, and I'm sure like 3 people, 10 people do it at PAX East. But the one dude that did it at Prime was a genius. And he walked away with a shit ton of swag. Insane swag. You have some of the swag right there. Do you want to talk about some swag real quick?
I have some t-shirts.
We got codes. The codes we got were, I have codes for Rift. You get the full game, which I was at Target yesterday. That game is $40. So you save $40 on a game, and you get the first month of gameplay with just the code. And then you have to do it in the next, like, he said September 10th they extended it till. So we have to give them out within the next week. But you get the full game and a month free with just this code. I got the Altair codes. I got a handful of those at my house. I've got a couple Halo swords for your avatar. And one Mass Effect, the ship. The actual ship goes with your avatar. I got one of those.
Do I have one?
I don't know. I had to suck dick for it.
Oh, I think that was at the end of Mass Effect during the little sign-up Facebook thing.
Oh.
We got some t-shirts. This one's from Sega.
It's the Aliens. They were giving it away at the end. Which, by the way, the Sega guy was awesome. We were chit-chatting, and he was a good man. Good times. What's this?
What is it?
End of Nations. It's huge also. I have a really big ass
I have
one
like
too.
a million huge t-shirts.
Towards the end, they were literally just throwing out shirts so they didn't have to take them back with them. This came in your original bag.
In the swag bag that you get just for going to PAX. So everybody had one of these running around.
My man's wearing it to fish. But these last few were my favorites. This is Prey 2.
Prey 2.
It's very simple, but it's really soft.
It is really soft.
And you know what? Bethesda always has really comfortable shirts.
They had that sweater that you have.
Oh yeah, I have an awesome sweater. But they also had
another Bethesda.
a different sweater my boyfriend had. Rage sweater, or Rage shirt. These are both the same material. They're soft, and they're very fitted. They're very comfy. You can suck Shorty's dick for them.
I'd like to encourage companies to
get more comfortable.
Get the comfy shirts, because they really, like, I'll wear them a lot more.
I'll wear your name.
Cool. And then there was also the one from, what was it, GameSpot?
Shit ton of slap bracelets. They seem to be the in, all the rage. And I got a Dance Central scarf, and you got purple Dance Central Thomas Caleb glasses.
I don't have them here.
Which I got them for selling my soul and dancing in hooker heels and a short skirt. By the way, that video.
Check online on the site. NotFNCute.com?
Yeah.
For that. What other cosplay was there? I know there was other cosplay. And I want to talk about your
Pedo
cosplay.
Bear? Oh, you want to talk about
Bear?
Pedo Bear. I called a guy a Pedo Bear today at work, no lie, because he was like, hey, what was that site you used to work with? And he starts naming sites, and I was like, no, I'm not there anymore. He's like, what's the new site? And I was like, I'm not going to fucking tell you. You're going to stalk me. And he's like, why can't I stalk you? And I was like, because you're a Pedo Bear. And then he signed his credit card slip, and at the top wrote, from Ped Bear. And I was like, Pedo Bear. That was funny.
That's...
I did Psylocke from Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and she was also in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. As you can tell, I'm a huge X-Men fan, and I've always wanted to do Psylocke. And when I was at my house putting the costume on, I was really confident it was awesome. The side blade was a last-minute fail. It looked really good, except that the handle had to be taken off and repositioned, and when I repositioned it, it fucked up the lighting in the background. So after, like, up all night the night before trying to fix it, we got there, and I was too embarrassed to carry it. Plus, I was like, what if I carry it and I get tired of it, then I'm stuck carrying this fucking piece of plastic around? So I didn't carry it. But they made me dress in full costume and go down to the Marriott's buffet and sit amongst, like, old white folk and eat my breakfast in shame. I had purple hair. I had the Crimson Dawn stripe across my eye. I had
They assumed you were going to some sort of convention.
Or a horror convention.
Everyone knows that, like,
but the thing with Seattle was, Seattle is so random, and, like, when we walked up, the first thing we saw was, like, a dude in a hot pink monkey suit playing the drums, that everybody acts like everything's normal. So, like, I'm sitting there in the elevator, and this, like, all these old white folk are sitting there, and they're, like, doo-doo-doo, looking around, and I'm like, yeah, this is totally normal, and they start giggling, and they're like, we don't judge. Everybody in Seattle was like that. They're like, we've seen worse. It's no big deal. So that part was cool. I really love Seattle. I did love awesome. Seattle. My cosplay, I liked that she was lesser known. I felt like X-23 got more love, though, and I think it's because Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had just been out right when we went. And plus I had to see Viper, so people kind of, put us two together and got it. Cosplaying by myself kind of sucked.
Sorry.
Because PAX we did together, and when I did, like, Kitty Pryde, it was different. She's a solo character. I could totally pull her off. I had Lockheed, and the props really sell it for me, so I felt like without a prop, I felt kind of like I was half-assing it, and I was kind of embarrassed by my costume the whole time, I'm not going to lie. But the people that did get that I was Psylocke, they'd be like, can I take a picture? And I'd be like, depends, who am I? And they're like, you're fucking Psylocke. And I was like, fuck yes.
I like the idea of doing a character that not everybody knows, because then, when people get it, it's like they really get it.
They get it. Yes. They're like, you're fucking Psylocke. So that part was cool, but honestly, I kept getting left by her and Abel, because
we were going to hang out and watch you cosplay all day.
But I didn't want to be alone. So I ended up alone a lot, and, like, when you're walking, people won't mess with you because they don't want to, like, bother you, but at the same time, you're just walking in shame. Like that. That's kind of how I felt. So I was walking in shame. I was solo. Like, this is me and this is everybody. Ready? Let me do a reenactment of everybody. Ready? No, this is it. Ready? This is me and this is everybody. Just watching me walk in shame. Or, like, pretending not to notice me walking in shame. And my ass was hanging out. So when I went up the escalator, I know my ass was hanging out. And one thing about the costume I really hated is it was made for a bigger person, and I got it tailored to fit me. but the crotch, I couldn't tell her to fit me. So there was extra fabric in the crotch, and I always felt like it was camel toe Psylocke. Like, I actually told people, I'm like, take a picture of camel toe Psylocke. Like, because, I mean, if I can't beat him, I join him and I make fun of myself. And that's what I felt like. I was kind of let down by my costume.
The costume looked really good. I think you would have liked it a lot more if we did something together, or if it was at, say, a Comic-Con.
I think if I were at a Comic-Con, she would get, not like San Diego, but like a regular convention, she would get way more love because they're all X-Men fans there. And it's a lot less of a comic book theme and more of a video game theme. I really think you should do the Portal Girl next time. What's her name again? Shell.
I don't look anything like Shell.
Can I go blonde and do her?
She's not blonde.
What is she, Brute?
She's brunette.
Yes! I'll go lighter and do her.
You could be an easy Shell.
But I just wanted to be Shell because it looked really comfy and I can make my boobs hang out. And then we gotta make up the heels.
Yeah.
And I have a buddy that made a badass Portal.
I saw one Shell at PAX that had really great heels.
Yes.
Just the way that she did it.
Mm-hmm.
It was really awesome.
We're gonna have to do that. It looked pretty cool.
Such an easy costume. And so comfy. I was actually jealous of Shell.
Yeah,
I saw her at
she
one
looked
point
really
and I was
comfortable.
like, that looks so comfortable.
And it was still sexy and it was still, like, relevant. But there's new games coming out. And there was one game, I can't think of the name of it, but the girl had, like, purple bunny ears and, like, a purple outfit and blue hair and she was really cute.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a new game. It was a game I saw, I walked past, and I was like, I want to cosplay as her because she had bunny ears.
I feel like you have to love the game in order to cosplay.
Not true. I have to love the outfit. Or the character. With X-Men, that's how I get away with it because I'm such an X fan. I can get away with, like, wearing all of them because I love them. And I don't feel like such a poser.
Just a little bit of a
Just a little bit of a poser. There were more cosplays. There was Mario and Luigi. Oh my god.
The Peach, is that what you're just going to talk about?
No.
Oh.
Misty?
Misty was awesome!
If you go to our site, I don't think you've uploaded the camera pictures yet. We will be having... there was a male Misty, like Pokemon Misty, and we chased him from, like, the top of the escalators to, like, halfway in the building.
Such a, like, stalker.
And I was like, Misty! And he turned around and he was all, like, a really happy dude. And he had, like, a Pokeball hanging from his belt buckle, and he had on, like, the short shorts with his hairy legs and the short shirt and his suspenders.
Balls looked all jacked up.
He had a ninja boot. He was rocking wicked ninja boot in there. And I was like, can we take a picture? And I go to stand next to him, and he goes, feminine or masculine? And I was like, feminine. And he goes... And then after the picture, I was like, so what does masculine look like? And he goes... So we got both of them, and that guy was fantastic, and, like, we just kept chasing him around going, Missy, rock!
He was fun.
He was amazing. There were so many, there were lots of
Princess
Peaches.
Peach was fun. The one with the hair was so good.
Yeah,
the little thing. She had really perfect, like, Princess Peach has, like, this cartoon hair that doesn't actually exist in real life, so she had it done so well, and she's standing there, and I took a couple pictures of her, and then I turn around, and, like, Mario and Luigi are, like, walking behind me, and I go, dude, she's right there!
It's so stupid.
And then he just, like, he didn't really know what to say. He, like, looked over, he was like, I think she's okay. She doesn't need saving right now. I just, like, kept walking. Oh.
They probably came at her earlier and she was a total cunt to him.
Probably.
That's how cosplay girls are. We're bitches. I'm not. I get really excited when
That's
people
why I
want
always
to
go
take a
after
picture
Daisy.
with me.
She's easy.
Daisy is easy. You know why? It's like the fat girl. Like, everybody wants, you know...
Is Daisy the
fat
fat girl?
No, she's like the fat friend, though. Everybody wants that one friend.
So she's you.
So she gets the sloppy seconds like me. Yeah. Shut up.
On that note.
On that note.
What are we talking about next?
We're going to talk about the parties. Want to talk about the parties?
Yes. So...
Thursday night we got in. Thursday afternoon we got settled in our hotel and we went down to the Gamers Outreach, like, community party. Our girlfriend, Elaine, put it together. It was at a bowling alley.
Bowling alley / bar / pool hall. Like,
and she
really
actually
cool.
reserved the downstairs. So it had 6 lanes. I was wondering how she said, like, 6 lanes. It was reserved downstairs area. It had 6 lanes. Around the corner it had, like, a buffet. Then it had a couple pool tables and one of those, like, shuffleboard things. And we played pool for a while. We got some drinks. I didn't bowl. I don't usually bowl. But it was a good time. We had a lot of fun.
I probably would have bowled, but I was wearing boots that were covering up the bottom of my pants, and my pants were too short on me. So I couldn't get bowling shoes on because I'd look stupid.
You already did. But we ran into, when we first walked up, we finally got to meet Thomas, Caleb, and Skelly and their buddy Quinn.
We got like
Second Opinion
massive
podcast.
tackle hugs.
Yeah, we did. Second Opinion podcast. We met up with those guys. We got to see Big K from Radioactive Nerd, hang out with Oopie. We saw some of the guys from Sarcastic Gamer. We saw Lano. I call him Lono.
I say Lono,
I love
too.
Lano. He's awesome. He's
I
a good
actually
time.
think it should be Lono.
He's kind of a dick, and that makes him awesome.
Yes.
And then we ran into some other people that I was like, hey, I know you, and we just chit-chatted for a bit. It was fun, but we were also invited to Avery's party, which a lot of people were invited in the industry. And this guy, this gentleman Avery, works for PopCap Games. He actually put his party together on his own dime through his own money and friends helping him out. And it was an open bar. They gave you your choice of a couple beer or this energy drink vodka mix. And last minute, they changed the venue. And we were going. Awesome. There was a Pike Street.
We were so
and a Pine
lost
Street.
looking for it.
There was a Pike Street and a Pine Street, like one street across, like away from each other. And we were walking down, and there's a cardboard sign.
I read signs
that says, "If you're looking for Avery's party, it's on Pine, not Pike, or vice versa." And we all looked at it, and we were like, "Oh!" And we walked right over, and there it was. It was in like this BMW garage that they cleared everything out.
It was like a dealership, but it
was like a garage. They cleared it. They had this one little area reserved for like indoor soccer, which was so cool. Then they had upstairs where the bar was. There was all this art that was on sale that you could buy, and basically a bunch of Avery's friends helped out with setting up his. We had a couple DJs there that were friends of his that helped out. Some were his friends that helped out, and it was totally not what I was expecting in a good way. Like, yeah. I showed up, there was a little Street Fighter tournament going on. They had the games set up. You could actually look at the new games consoles. And while we were there, they showed us, like, for the first time, unwrapped it, the Gears container that the games was coming in. G-A-E-M-S. G-A-E-M-S.
You got it.
Those personal portable gaming devices that you can hook up your Xbox to is what they were. And it was a really cool setup because I expected it to be, like, a hardcore, like, dark, dingy, rockin' party.
I expected, like, a clubby atmosphere, and it was more, like... Awesome.
It was more like artsy. It was more kind of hip. It was, and at the same time, it had like a juvenile feel to it because there were people playing indoor soccer. There's people playing Street Fighter games. I love the vibe of it all together. It was a good time. We ended up running into Kona there, and we hung out with him and his wife and a couple of their friends. I ended up running into our good friend Alex Mananananani for the first time, and in person, and he was awful, terrible. He's a sweetheart. I love Alex. We ran into Prodigy. Yep. Prodigy's a good time. He gave you a ride home from the airport.
He gave me a ride from the airport, so thank you, Prodigy. And Bonnie. Thank you.
But that party was definitely different. It was the most unique party that we went to the whole time. Like, it wasn't like a... And
I don't know if it was...
It was unique. It was very unique. And Avery did it all on his own dime, which was really cool. And it was just a bunch of industry folk. You were looking at people going, I know you, and that's because, like, you've seen them online, on Twitter, on Facebook.
It's so cool to see people that you've talked to. Like, we talked to a lot of people, and, like, people in the industry and fans, like, of the show, or people who just, like, know who we are, or, like,
we've met
show up to game nights. It's, like, it's so cool, to then, when we go to these events, to see everybody in real life is, like, this kind of surreal thing, and...
That's the best part.
It's the best part, by far.
Meeting everybody, and not just like the industry people, just meeting you guys is the best part of PAX for me.
And faces and names is like something that I'm terrible at. She's pretty good. But like, I don't even link up. Like, I'll be friends with someone on Twitter and friends with them on Facebook, and I think I have 2 friends. So
she's pretty bad about that. I'll be like, oh, so-and-so, and she's like, who? And I'm like, Robert Waters, and she's like, who? And I'm like,
I didn't forget Robert's one. Oh, yeah, no, I didn't know he was Sweet Cakes. It's true. Yes. Sorry, Robert. I didn't know you were Sweet Cakes for a long time.
Friday night's party was probably one of the drunkest parties I was at. Yeah. That was the Sarcastic Gamer Extra Life event. And we pre-bought our tickets at we bought our tickets at a time which got you a shirt and the open bar from 9 to 12. And we utilized that open bar from 9 to 12. And I
think everybody
definitely did. Tipsy in a good way. We closed down from 9 to 12. After 12, they kind of kicked everybody out. We went to the tap house next and stayed there until they closed down. Then we decided that we wanted to go to the strip club. So we walked to the strip club.
But they had closed.
But it was 2:15 and they closed at 2:30. So there was a porn shop open 24 hours next door. So we walked around the porn shop for a little bit.
Can I just say, I've only really gone to porn shops in Florida, which are Disney World.
Yeah, they're just like, they're really clean and the porn's there, but...
I felt dirty.
Because this place had a viewing area, and like you'd walk by what looked like bathroom
about
stalls because it was so exciting. It was so exciting. Because there were like these dark bathroom stalls. Just picture dark bathroom stalls lined up. And you could see people's feet, and you could see balled up tissues on the floor.
It was so gross.
I wanted to reach my hand under and be like, can I help you out, man?
There was a sign on every door that said, like, 1 person per room.
Because
like,
we were going to do one together. I totally would have done one with you. But we just walked through it real quick, and Shorty felt disgusting, so we left.
I felt dirty.
And I told her if
gross.
the strip club is closed, we should probably go home. So after that, we went home and went to bed. But the Sarcastic Gamer Party was great. They had great raffles going on. But I am so glad that I didn't buy a ticket, because by the time they were raffling shit off, I was too drunk to listen to them.
Yeah.
And
you would have never heard.
I would never have heard if I wanted anything, because my ears were just fucked. I was just having so much fun. At that point, we ran into Jimmy Chi, who was drunk. Jimmy, we love you drunk. He doesn't get drunk, he gets awesome.
Yes.
Ran into Jimmy. We ran into Dario, my buddy Dario. We hung out with him. I met a couple other Canadians. We hung out with Chris and Eddie.
How do you remember names like this?
I ran into them later, but I remember them. And then Josh, the guy that you were talking to before, I ran into him later on at the con too. And we just like sat.
Jess, I remember her.
Justine and her boyfriend and their friends. But we just kind of sat at the bar, and people came up and were chit-chatting with us and walking away. And then people kept saying that we had boys surrounding us. And I was like, no, they're just my buddies. Like, these are all my internet friends that I finally get to fucking hang out with. And since it was open bar, we were doing shots, and I was fucking on the floor. I said no shots, so Shorty said, get her tequila. And they got me tequila. And I actually only had a sip of it and gave the rest to somebody else, because I didn't finish that shit. And I was still wasted.
I'm a good friend.
We learned something this weekend. And that
I'm
is, there's one rule when it comes to partying with us. One of us should always stay sober.
Yes.
Or at least not drunk.
Yeah,
because we have to take care of
turns.
each other. Yeah, because
we took turns.
We get kind of out of control, and at one point somebody has to put down the guard and be like, okay, time to stop.
Put down the mom card?
Yeah, I have to throw down the cock block and be like, it's time to go. Like, whenever Shorty gets a little too belligerent and drunk and starts insulting people that she shouldn't be insulting, I'm like, it's time to go home. And then the next time around...
And when you can't walk?
When I can't walk, it's time to
carry
go
you.
home. So we did good. Saturday night was probably my favorite night of all the nights.
Saturday night.
Michael Robles, the community manager for Magic... Wizards of the Coast, invited us to the Wizards of the Coast party where they announced their new deck. And it was this gothic mix of, like, vampires and... succubus, and like it was insane. These cards were sitting there and all the fans came piling in, and you could do your own little tokens, which were your own little cards, but the lineup was insane and they cut it off pretty early. And then they had this big announcement, and when they announced it, the cards flipped. These were like wall-sized cards.
They were huge.
And the cards flipped, and the fans went fucking nuts.
They were crazy.
They were screaming, they were cheering, they were like so excited. And you can't help but get like really caught up in it. And I was
even for us who we played Magic once. Like for us, it was exciting just because of the excitement in the room. Like everyone got so hyped up.
Everybody got so pumped. I convinced Shorty that if we were going to a Magic party, we had to wear elf ears.
I wish we would have had a heads up because I would have worn fangs.
Yes, but we had a good time and the elf ears were fun. We just got all ducked out, really cute, and then wore elf ears, and people were like, "Hey, you had elf ears on last night." Like. I went back to the Wizards of the Coast booth looking for Mike the next day, and this one guy's like, were you wearing elf ears last night? Like, people kept recognizing us, which was pretty fun. We got to run into a bunch of people and meet new people, and just, like, randomly, the best part of PAX is you just see somebody standing there and you just talk to them. Because there's got to be something you have in common with this person, something. So this one guy was, like, standing there looking at the cards, and I was like, you look unimpressed. And he's like, no, it's not that. And then I just started shooting the shit with him, and we ended up chit-chatting for a while. But from the Wizards of the Coast party was awesome. Don't get me wrong, it was spectacular. It was beautiful, it was gothic, it was gorgeous. The music on the dance floor ranged from like Dance Central music to even more awesome music. Like it was all pop, it was all rock, it was all jump your ass around, shake your ass and have a good time. And it wasn't like the geeks were all sitting there watching an empty dance floor. The best part of PAX is that you're not afraid to be yourself. So everybody was fucking dancing. Everybody was dancing. Everybody had a good time.
People who swear in real life that they'll never dance were dancing.
It was awesome. So much fun. And then from there, I had 2.5 drinks there. And they were like this big drinks. They weren't big drinks. I had 2.5 because she drank half of mine. Good thing. Because by the time we left that party, I was smashed. And we walked across to Michael Robles' improv show. And I kept getting texts from people going, hey, we're at this party, come to this party, hey, we're at this party. And I was like, sorry, dudes, I'm at an improv show.
And everyone's like,
that's lame, right?
Like, what? Like, what about, like, the Fragdolls party? What about the Sega party? And we're like, I'm at an improv show, man. Like, come on.
Which kind of, everybody kind of frowned upon, but going to it was probably the most enjoyable thing I did all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It was Mike and his friends from the Nerdprov group, along with people from Load Ready Run, another website. They did an improv, or another improv group. And then they actually had Mikey Newman, who was on Anthony Saves the World. He does the voice of Scooter from Borderlands, show up and like do some cameo stuff in there. And the show itself was geared towards us, and I think that's why we all had so much fun. It was geared toward all the gamers. And granted, I was really too drunk to even walk up the stairs, but I sobered.
Good, by the time
we were done, I sobered up. But I was still laughing just as hard from the beginning to the end. Like, it was hilarious. If you are in Seattle at all, ever, check out the Nerdprov, because Mike and his friends are hilarious, and there's such a good time. And after the Nerdprov, we actually followed them. We went to a karaoke bar and had a couple drinks. Erin pulled out.
Watched people do karaoke. We didn't play test this at all.
Yeah, she drunkenly forced them to play. We didn't play test this at all. And then
everyone loved it because it's the best game ever, except for Pride, who thinks it's stupid.
My goal in that game is to lose first. So I always try to find out what the rule is, and then I make sure I lose first so I don't have to play it anymore, because she always deals me in.
I hate you. The game's amazing.
I love you. That was probably my favorite part of the weekend, though, hanging out with Mike. If you haven't seen him, if you're ever at a Magic Wizards of the Coast event or anything, and you see a guy that looks kind of like Jeff Goldblum, that's Mike. And he is funny as hell. Don't tell him I said it, because I told him that his whole improv group had to carry him the whole night. He was funny as hell, and he's such a nice guy. What a sweetheart. We were in love with him by the end of the weekend.
It's true.
He's like, you guys totally love me, and it was true. We did.
We couldn't help it.
He was great.
And then, so that was
Saturday
night.
Every night we were out till at least 3 a.m. And I got up at 6:45, 7 every morning. Whether or not we got to the con in time, I was still up that early.
And then